For almost all of history, extinction meant one thing: forever. A species died, and the door closed behind it. But a company in Dallas, Texas is betting that the door was never really locked. They want to bring back the dodo, the single most famous dead animal on the planet. A bird so completely gone that we use its name as a punchline. And to do it, they are not digging up the past. They are rewriting a living bird, cell by cell. And the two birds doing the work, a pigeon and a chicken. So can you actually reverse extinction? And if something does come walking back out of that lab, is it really the dodo? The company is called Colossal Biosciences. It was founded in 2021 by Harvard geneticist George Church and the entrepreneur Ben Lamb. And it has a single, almost unbelievable mission: to make extinction a thing of the past. This is not a fringe operation. Colossal is valued at over $10 billion, and it is chasing a whole graveyard at once: the woolly mammoth, the Tasmanian tiger, the moa, the blue buck, and the dodo. And they already made the world stop and stare. In 2025, Colossal put 3 grey wolf pups in front of the cameras and called them dire wolves. An apex predator, gone for 10,000 years, supposedly walking again. It was everywhere. And even though critics were quick to call them edited grey wolves, not true dire wolves, the world had already heard the headline. Extinction might be reversible, but of all their projects, the dodo is the one that means the most. Because the dodo is not just any extinct animal. It was a big, grey, flightless bird that lived on one island and nowhere else. It had no fear of humans because before us, nothing on that island hunted it. So when we arrived, it didn't stand a chance. We wiped it out in a matter of generations. The dodo became the symbol of every species we have ever erased, which is exactly why Colossal wants it back. Bring back the poster child of extinction and you change the whole story. So how do you actually bring something back? Because this is the part most people never hear explained. There are really only 3 ways to do it, and they are nothing alike. The first is backbreeding. You take a living animal that still carries scraps of an extinct cousin's traits, and you breed for those traits generation after generation until something old reappears in something new. It is slow, and the result only looks like the species. The genes underneath can be completely different. The second is cloning. This is the dream version. You take an intact cell from the extinct animal and you grow a genetic twin, a real copy. And there is exactly one problem. It has been done and it went horribly wrong. In 2003, scientists cloned a bucado, a wild mountain goat that had just gone extinct. For one moment, it worked. It became the first animal ever brought back from extinction. And then, 7 minutes after it was born, it died. Its lungs were malformed. The first de-extinction in history lasted 7 minutes. And for an animal like the dodo, cloning is not even an option. Cloning needs a perfect, living cell. All we have left of the dodo is broken DNA scraped from old museum bones. There is no intact cell to copy, which leaves the third way: genetic engineering. You don't copy the dead animal. You take a living relative and you edit its genome, swapping in the key pieces that made the extinct one unique. You are not resurrecting a dodo from its own cells. You are rebuilding a dodo inside the body of its closest living cousin. And that is the path Colossal chose. Which raises the obvious question. If you are going to rebuild a dodo inside another bird, which bird do you start with? That is where it gets strange, but editing a genome is one thing. Turning that edited cell into a living, breathing animal is something else entirely, and it's the wall that almost stopped the whole project. With a mammal, once your edits are made, you can clone that single cell into an embryo. Cloning is not just a way to copy an animal, it is the delivery van that carries your edits into a new life. But Beth Shapiro, the geneticist who leads Colossal's Dodo project, will tell you straight, that van does not exist for birds. In a mammal, there is a moment where you can reach an egg cell at exactly the right stage and work with it. In a bird, that moment is locked away. The egg develops in a completely different way, sealed inside a shell, and there is no point where you can reach in and grab that single cell. So even with the perfect edits sitting in a dish, Colossal had no way to turn them into a bird. Everything that works for mammals breaks. The second feathers are involved. So Colossal had to attack the problem from a stranger angle. Instead of the egg, they went after something called primordial germ cells. These are the cells inside an embryo that eventually turn into eggs and sperm. Control those, and you don't just change one bird. You change everything it will ever pass on. There was only one catch. To do this with a dodo, they first had to learn to do it with a pigeon, and nobody ever had. Meet the bird this entire project is built on, the Nicobar Pigeon. Its feathers shine in iridescent blue, copper, and green, like oil on water catching the light. And there is a reason it looks like a flying jewel. Like the dodo, it evolved on islands with no predators. When nothing is hunting you, you never need to hide. So instead of dull camouflage, it just got beautiful. And here is the part that is almost impossible to believe. This small, glittering, flying pigeon is the dodo's closest living relative on Earth. Look at them together, and it makes no sense. The Nicobar pigeon is only around 40 centimeters. The dodo could reach a full meter. One is a rainbow built for the air. The other was a heavy grey giant that never once left the ground. So how can they possibly be cousins? To answer that question, you have to go back. Way back. Their two family lines split around 23 million years ago, and here is a detail that genuinely bends the mind. The island the dodo called home is less than 10 million years old, which means for millions of years after that split, the dodo's ancestors could still fly. They had to. They crossed open ocean, found brand new land, and only then, slowly, over a vast stretch of time, gave up the sky and became the dodo. But there is a darkness hanging over this bird too. The Nicobar pigeon is now classified as near threatened. Its numbers are dropping, pushed down by habitat loss, by hunting, and by predators that humans dragged onto its islands. Let that land for a second. The exact bird scientists need to bring back the dodo is being slowly destroyed by the same forces that killed the dodo in the first place. The clock is running on both of them at once. Real quick. If watching scientists rebuild a dead bird out of a glow-in-the-dark pigeon is your kind of thing, subscribe and follow along. This whole de-extinction story is just getting started, and it gets so much weirder from here. Okay, back to it. Recently, they cracked it. For the first time in history, Colossal's avian team grew pigeon primordial germ cells in the lab. Until now, scientists could only do this with chickens and geese. Pigeons, the entire family the dodo belongs to, had never been solved. They didn't stop at the idea. They built a breeding colony of Nicobar pigeons in Texas. Those birds are already laying eggs. And from those embryos, the team has collected the very first Nicobar pigeon germ cells. Shapiro calls this a biological barrier finally falling away. But cells are only half the puzzle. You also need the blueprint, and the blueprint had been dead for 3 centuries. Back in 2002, Beth Shapiro pulled off something remarkable. Everything you have taken for granted in this video, that the dodo is a pigeon, that this glittering little Nicobar is its closest cousin, none of that was known. Scientists had argued about what the dodo even was for generations. Then Shapiro extracted a tiny fragment of its DNA, and the argument was over. She is the one who proved it. A giant, grounded, flightless pigeon. Everything Colossal is building today rests on that single fragment she pulled out of the past. Then, in 2022, her team went all the way and reconstructed the dodo's entire genome, the complete instruction manual of a bird that hadn't existed in 300 years. So now, let me show you exactly how this works, start to finish, because every single step is its own enormous problem. First, you compare the dodo's genome to the Nicobar pigeons, and you find the differences. Those differences are where the dodo lives. Then you edit those dodo traits into Nicobar pigeon germ cells. Then comes the genuinely wild part. Those edited cells get injected into chickens. Not normal chickens. Chickens that have been engineered so they can't produce their own germ cells. Which means when those chickens grow up and breed, the only eggs and sperm they carry are the dodo-edited ones. A chicken, laying the beginnings of a dodo. The chicks that hatch carry the dodo-like instructions. You breed those together, generation after generation, and slowly you push toward a bird that looks and acts like something the world hasn't seen since the 17th century. As Shapiro puts it, the final dodo will come from a pigeon that has been engineered to be the size of a dodo. Not dug up, not cloned, but rebuilt from a living cousin, one edit at a time. Because building a dodo in a lab was never really the goal. Colossal wants to put it back where it came from. They want to release the dodo onto Mauritius, the island where it last lived more than 300 years ago. They have even set up an advisory committee with people from Mauritius to plan the return. And it sounds beautiful. A lost bird walking its old island again. But the moment you really look at that picture, it cracks open into questions nobody can answer yet. Because not everyone thinks we should be doing this at all. Which brings us to the real question underneath all of this. Not can we, but should we? The people building this make a real case. There is the wonder of it, the idea of a child one day standing in front of a living dodo. And there is a moral argument. We are the ones who drove these animals out. Ben Lamb frames it as a duty, asking whether if our technology could restore what we destroyed and stop more species from vanishing, we have an obligation to at least try. And it is not just talk. The tools built for de-extinction have already produced real conservation wins. A vaccine for a herpes virus that kills elephants. Work to help endangered marsupials survive toxic cane toads. Even if no dodo ever hatches, that science is protecting living animals right now. But the critics are not gentle. The philosopher Heather Browning calls these revived animals zombies. She warns the process can lead to miscarriage, stillbirth, early death, genetic defects, and chronic disease. Real suffering in the service of a headline. And there is a deeper problem that cuts to the bone. What you get at the end is not a dodo. It is a Nicobar pigeon carrying some dodo genes. One researcher put it bluntly. Calling this de-extinction is hyperbole because a living thing is so much more than its genes. A genome grows up surrounded by parents, by hormones, by an entire environment switching genes on and off in ways we cannot copy for an animal that has been gone for centuries. The dodo that hatches would have no other dodos to teach it how to be one. No parent, no flock, just a lonely guess at a ghost. And the island itself? No dodo-like bird has lived there for roughly 350 years. Nobody truly knows what dropping a brand new species into that ecosystem would do, and we are still only beginning to understand what its loss did in the first place. And then the hardest question of all, the money. The fear is simple. Selling de-extinction as a safety net quietly tells the world it is fine to keep losing things, because clever people can always print them back later. And maybe the most honest voice in all of this belongs to Beth Shapiro herself, because even she admits it. Whatever walks out of that lab, it can never truly be what we lost. More than 300 years ago, we made a bird disappear, and we turned its name into a joke. Now, a team in Dallas is trying to undo that, one edited cell at a time. Whether they pull it off, the real question is the one we started with. If something comes home, will it be the dodo, or just our best attempt at remembering it? If you want to see more animals brought back from extinction, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.